This is a Rolemaster Classic Actual play set in Terry K Amthor's excellent Shadow World using Fantasy Grounds. You can find session summaries, items and characters on World Anvil, where our campaign is called The Praise of Old Men. This episode is cross-referenced as Demons of the Burning Night 2, Part 8. Previously, recovering from the shock of the forced gender change, the explorers moved south to encounter another small group of childlike demons. Cran charged in but quickly realised his mistake when the demons were joined by others lurking in the murk surrounding the now beleaguered companions. Although eventually victorious, the amount of healing required afterwards forced Ugnan into unconsciousness. Once the healer was awake, the party ventured out towards a temple bearing many scars from a determined siege. Immediately upon opening the large entrance doors that depicted impressive women, 2 skeletons arose from a pile of scorched bones. Remember, due to a Fantasy Grounds bug, all rolls are in the open. Let's hope for kind criticals.
So there's one in front of, or approximately in front of the door, and there's another one further away. So can I have initiative rolls, please, from you? Both of these are armed with huge matter. As the skeletons begin to rise, these would have been not giants, but these would have been huge humans, fully Cran's size and build. But of course now they're just so much bone and ivory. The first skeleton draws himself to his knees and takes a few tottering steps away from the door. The second one, who is similarly equipped with a mattock, also just takes a couple of steps forward, but then stands with the mattock held the haft in his left hand and the head up by his right hand in a guarding position, as if he's daring you to come on, preventing you from going through those doors. Neither seem that intent on closing or doing anything else with you at all. Silk, what do you wish to do? They clearly are not aware of your presence, hiding, as it were, around the corner.
Do I still see that haze coming through the doors towards them?
No. I mean,
Okay.
depending on where you are, but no, you don't think you can see that sort of haze.
Okay, I won't sneak around the corner into the door, but I'll basically huddle up in this corner here and try and hide and be as silent as I can.
Okay. So Silk ducks out of sight, so the rest of you can't see where Silk is. She's gone because of this general obscurement. Are you preparing a spell, Silk?
No, I'll just basically do nothing but.
Okay. Numal, it's your turn.
So are you saying that these 2 creatures, skeletal guardians, are just holding their position?
Yep.
Is there anything about them that indicates that they've been burnt or that they are resistant to a fireball?
Well, as they stood up, you may have noticed some of the black vitrified flesh drop through their bones and onto the floor. The bones themselves, yes, are slightly blackened, and they're certainly not got any flesh on them, nor any armor.
Numal's concern is that they're drawing us into the field of fire of the fireball, so I'm reluctant to close with them.
Yeah.
Try a missile weapon. Could I switch my katana to my short bow?
You can. To then string it and fire is going to take you around, so you'll be able to fire it next round if you want, Numal.
Yep. I'll
Okay.
do that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep, no problems. Ugnan, what do you wish to do?
Yeah, he's drawing the same kind of conclusions as Numal, as he notices that they're not advancing. He goes,
No.
looks like they'll have to come to us. If you've got range, get it ready. If we really want to get in there, we're going to have to take these out. And he just takes out his hand axe and shield and holds it ready, but he hasn't got any range.
Cherry will, similarly, seeing the way that this is going, she'll move around as she does to maybe get some sort of flank attack. But she readies her short bow as well. Victoria's
going to be pretty simple-minded about this and just step forward.
Okay.
Drawing her, what's it called? The warhammer.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay, so you step in and draw your warhammer and shield. As you step in, you can feel warmth, but it's coming from the skeletons. Okay. That warmth, though, initially as you step in, makes you realize how cold you are. These things are very, very warm, and in comparison, you're quite cold. In fact, you feel quite tired, actually.
Oh no!
Weary.
Oh,
Cran will probably matter, oh, bloody hell, as he does, and come round to help with his sort of great sword as well. As he draws it, there's none of that telltale flash that you normally get when there are demons around. Whatever these things are, they're not demons. They're clearly monstrous and some sort of thing, but they're not demonic. Maybe that explains why time has had an effect on them. That will be initiative then, please, everybody. So the first demon, the one nearest that Cran and Victor have closed on, the skeleton has these bright blue, piercing, icy blue, glowing orbs in its eye sockets, Victoria. And it stares balefully at you, and you almost think it's shaking its head sorrowfully as it hefts its war mattock and brings it crashing down on top of you. It seems sad to have to try and end your life in this way. However, the war mattock is clearly something more than a war mattock. As it slices down, you could have sworn that you blocked it, but it passed effortlessly through your defense, almost as if the war mattock isn't actually there. But as it passes through your defense, it almost seems to solidify, become corporeal again, and it smashes into you, rocking you heavily. You
Wow.
take
oh,
18 points of damage and a C crush critical. And you realize that actually blocking these things and parrying these things is going to be very, very difficult indeed.
Stuart, just so you know,
yes.
Stuart, we can see your rolls as well, not just tower rolls. So we can see
Really?
see you rolled a
Yep.
44 for your crit.
Yeah, that's terrific. Okay.
So is there an option there
So that
to show
means that
no
now
rolls?
when I kill you, I really kill you.
It's for real. We like that though. We're all adults, so
It's
that's
like
all.
Diablo 3 hardcore mode. Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, this is Iron Man mode. There is no save and no extra lives in this
That's
game.
right.
I am an elite dungeon master. I have transcended the mere hobbyist.
Nice.
Ugnan is running back to the boat.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I don't like this at all.
You're on your own. You're on your own, bloody hell.
Yeah,
Right,
we
there you
wait for
go.
the
So,
GM
Victoria,
Bob of War to come back.
you step slightly away as the war mattock passes through your attack and it catches you painfully on the calf. Okay, your leg is stunned and you're hobbling slightly. Silk, it's your turn.
Okay, so she hears this huge clang and a thud, so that wakes her up again, and she'll basically move out and cast her favorite shockbolt spell. See about drying somebody off. 5, 10, 15, 20. Oh no, she likes. We'll get to there. She does like her big bonus for the range attacks and shockbolt. Oh baby.
Okay. So that's 12 points of damage on that skeleton. And as that lightning bolt strikes home, you can see the creature shake slightly and it turns round to face you.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
normally that shock bolt would have done quite a bit more damage, but it seems to shrug off that electrical damage.
okay.
And it stares at you, opens its mouth, and a little bit of obsidian, maybe the remains of its tongue, falls out, and it takes a step towards you.
Okay.
And it then closes on you and swings at you with its war mattock. So 6 points of damage, Silk, and an A crush critical.
Thank you.
Okay, the A crush critical is a 55, which I think you can see.
Yep.
That, fortunately, it hits you where you've got some padding.
Woohoo!
Just hope you don't keep going up in this pattern. 44, 55. Oh, what's next?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're next.
So it catches you in the chest. Another 5 hit points. You've got to parry for the next round, and you've got a bruised rib.
Right.
As I said, thank heavens for your padding.
hmm
Numal, it's your turn. You've got your bow out, I believe, so you can fire away if you wish.
Which of the two should I fire at? I'll probably fire at the one that Silk is currently engaged with. There we go. Aiming. Steady aim. Fire.
The arrow passes straight through the creature, manages to find that gap between its ribs and just flies through, I'm afraid.
That's a great shot. Not.
Ugnan.
Can Ugnan see in through the doors and into what lies beyond?
You can see a little bit. You can see what looks to be some sort of entrance foyer, which has a sandstone floor, well crafted and fitted slabs, but you can't see anything more than that. There doesn't seem to be anything moving around inside, and there doesn't seem to be any hint that anything's going to emerge and attack you.
And when they animated, they said something like "Mistress," was it?
That's right. Mistress, we obey thy commands. We serve thee in death as we served thee in life. We come.
Okay, I was just going to call out, Mistress, stay your guardians. We wish to talk.
Okay.
And I think that's all he can do. He's got no ranged weapons and he can't waste much spell points.
Okay. Victoria.
Yeah, Victoria's just gonna attack Skeletal Guardian number 1.
The creature attempts to block it, but the power behind the blade is sufficient for your blow to get through. So that's 15 points of damage. The blade then twists slightly and you spear it through the rib cage to where its chest would have been. If it had had flesh and blood and organs, that probably would have been a very damaging attack indeed. It's got no organs. The blade does nothing more than just loosen a few ribs, I'm afraid.
But
These creatures are clearly going to be very difficult to damage if you try and pierce and skewer and go for organ damage, because they have none. Cherry will fire an arrow at the nearest creature. She's sort of committed to her attack. Now her arrow manages to strike the creature in the head, and the arrow thumps into the side of the skull, but then seems to just bounce off it. So she does 20 points of damage, and the skull, you can see part of the skull cracks and just break away, but nothing else.
Wow.
If it had any sort of brain or anything like that, yeah, you probably could have at least knocked it down, concussed it, but it's got no organs. Killing these things is going to be very difficult because there's no organs that you can target. Cran may be in a better position, of course, because it's just brute force power that he's going to
Pure
use.
damage, yeah.
So Cran takes, with shield breaker in hand, is just using pure brute force on this thing, and he hammers the sword into the skeleton, but he only manages to do 5 points of damage as the creature partly evades his swing, but also Cran's hand slips slightly on the hilt. Nerves uncharacteristically. Can I have initiative rolls, please, for everybody?
oh, lowest possible.
Snake eyes.
Right, so the first skeletal guardian that is fighting you, Victoria. Cran's attack wasn't quite as damaging. It focuses on you, and again swings that horrendous weapon at you and misses. In fact, it seems to almost lose control of its war mattock. So both you and Cran, if you attack it, can have a bonus of plus 25 to your attacks as it tries to desperately hold on to its war mattock, which has got embedded in some of the cobblestones. And as it wrenches them out, it almost loses its balance. So plus 25 when you eventually get around to attacking it.
Right, nice.
Meanwhile, the other guardian is still focused on you, Silk, and it tries to hit you with the war mattock again.
You got it.
And that hits you for 13 points of damage and a bee crush critical.
Okay.
And the bee crush is 80.
Ooh,
Oh,
squish time.
Okay, that takes you across the arm. You're stunned for the next round. You take another hits. So your left arm numbed and useless, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Okay. Silk, it's your turn. You've got to parry this round. You can still retreat, of course. You can move away at 50% of your move.
Yeah, that's exactly what she'll do. She'll retreat and get the heck out of Dodge. I don't want to bring it to the bow people, so I'm gonna move 35 to here,
Okay.
and that'll be.
Yep. Numal, it's your turn. Clearly, piercing weapons are struggling to do a lot of damage.
Yes, Numal's thoughts exactly. Numal will be swapping back to his trusty Shinnin sword.
Yep.
And looking to close with Skeletal Guardian 2. So GM, do you think that will take up all of my round?
Yeah, I'll let you move
Switch
sort of
weapons?
halfway across the distance. So you've got to switch weapons, draw your
Yes.
sword, and move. So I'm going to kind of put you to about there if you wish. Yeah, somewhere like that. The vegetation is sort of short,
Shielding?
scrubby, sort of knee-high vegetation.
Okay.
Okay.
So perfectly passable
Yes.
through that vegetation.
Oh yeah.
Those aren't trees that we're seeing.
No.
Okay.
Ugnan.
Shatters are beyond his ability, I'm afraid. It's a level 12 spell, Shatter Repair.
Oh, no worries, buddy. You take care.
So he just starts preparing a hold kind.
Okay.
And that's all he can do at the moment.
Right. Cran is going to attack this thing again. He's not rolling very well. And that's a miss. Cran is struggling.
Did you add
Cherry,
the plus 25?
Actually, sorry. Thank you very much. Yeah, with the plus 25, that actually does. Thank you very much. So that sneaks another 5 points of damage home onto number 1. Cherry, she's going to change to that katana, and she's going to move round to here to maybe try and sneak in, but she's changing weapons as well. Victoria, it's your turn.
Attacking again.
And that's another 9 points of damage on number 1. Again, if your sword had been, or rather, if you weren't attacking creatures with no organs, that could have been a pretty effective strike. It
Is
being
the Warhammer not helping?
Yeah, because you still manage to do piercing damage with it, or a piercing critical. Obviously, the corner of the Warhammer is what snuck through. So these creatures are immune to any piercing critical.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Initiative rolls, please.
Don't waste those 66s, man.
Number 2 is still going for, and that's 8 points of damage on you, Victoria. That's all.
Oh, yeah.
Not much. Nothing else. Silk.
So Silk is stunned this round. She will start digging into her herb pouch.
Looks like you're fine.
Oh, did it remove it again?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, weird. Maybe that's a part of the problem.
Yeah, because you had 2 stuns, didn't you?
Well, one was a parry at minus 25, and then it was a stun for one. I technically hadn't moved yet that round, but my parry should have been what was used up.
Okay. So do you think you're still stunned?
I do.
All right.
I think it's just broken right now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll go with that. Skeletal Guardian number 2 will advance towards Victoria and swing at you, Victoria, I'm afraid.
Sorry, Victoria. I didn't want to run to the squishy.
Another 18 points and another B crush critical on you, Victoria.
Yep.
So Victoria seems to be being rocked backwards and forwards as these 2 creatures gang up on her. Ooh, 67.
Guess it's time to go into defensive mode.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, I'm not able to parry. Oh
So
my
stunned
god.
and unable to parry. As she's hit this time by the mattock, her sword hangs limply by her side and Victoria's head drops. The killing blow is bound to come in the next round. She could drop. Cran steps in, desperate to help. That's more like it. And
Which one
he
is Cran
hammers
attacking?
the
Number
creature for 22 points of damage and manages to do a D crush critical. 70 on the D crush. So that hammers the creature across the shoulder. The foe's going to be at -2, and the creature is going to fight at -25 but isn't stunned. So the arm is badly damaged. A shoulder blade falls off to the ground. So as it swings its mattock from now on, it's swinging very stiffly, but it's still standing and still able to fight. Cherry will take the opportunity to step in on Guardian number 2. Obviously, she's attacking this creature and it's not aware of her coming in, so I'll give her a flank attack on that. She's attacking with her katana on number 2, and that does 6 points of damage on number 2. And
Holy versus undead.
And does, let me call up that right sheet. So that's holy. So she'll make that. So 56 on a holy will be another 10 hits. But yeah, if it had been a 50, that would have been 30 hits.
Yeah, all right.
Unfortunately, these creatures are just immune to stuns. So that was Cherry. Ugnan, it's your turn.
Okay, his whole kind's ready now, so he's targeting Guardian 2. Pushes his hand forward, locks his hands imaginably around its throat, and starts throttling.
Okay,
Nice.
so the Darth Vader.
Yeah,
Force
okay.
choke.
Ow.
Okay. And your spell bounces off it as if it wasn't even there, I'm afraid.
Bumholes.
Numal, your turn.
So Numal now has Shinnan's sword in hand and is advancing on Skeletal Guardian number 2.
Yep.
Don't poke.
So I'm going to drop the die.
That's right. Okay. So Shinnan's sword, I'm afraid, misses. Victoria, you're stunned and you can't parry, but you can move and you can retreat up to 50% of your regular move distance if you wish.
Yeah, let's move away then. Yeah, something like that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We'll go to initiative rolls, please, everybody. Right. Number 2, who's probably the least damaged of all of them, but he's struggling with that arm, tries to attack Cran, who hit him so badly last time. That misses comfortably. Creature is actually struggling to use his war mattock properly. The second Skeletal Guardian obviously is aware of your attack, Numal and Cherries, and turns and probably goes for Cherries because Cherries is the more dangerous blade and hits her with a crunching blow for 25 points of damage and does a D crush critical, knocking the diminutive rogue to the ground, but only for another calf wound. Obviously, these creatures like hitting you around the legs.
That's right.
They're a bit weird. Silk, your turn.
Okay, so you mentioned that she has a broken arm or shattered. I don't know if there's a negative, how much a negative that'll. She's gonna see the condition that Victoria is in, and she just moves back up in there like an idiot and tries to get a nice full-on back attack.
And because of that shatter and because of the pain, you'd obviously be at some sort of disadvantage to cast spells. But do you want to go in and cast a spell, or do you want to go and karate chop this thing?
Yeah, she's gonna try to karate chop it because if they're in heavier armor, she'll try to use sweep.
No, they're not wearing any armor at all.
Oh, okay.
But they're obviously very resistant to damage.
Right.
So make of that what you will.
Yeah, exactly. So she'll karate chop it like you say, and this is rear.
So with a badly damaged, stunned limb and rib damage as well.
Oh, come on, baby. She's only brave when she needs to be. And
Misses.
okay, done.
Numal, your turn.
Okay, I'm going to try the same attack on Skeletal Guardian number 2.
Yep.
Although this time I think, Stuart, I don't have the advantage of a flank attack, do I?
No, afraid not.
Right, take it, you skeleton. There we go.
Nice.
Nice. Needed that.
About time.
Die, spawn of Satan. 3 points of damage.
Oh.
No way.
Oh,
Cool, that kind of sucks, really. That was a really good roll as well. Sorry.
good quickness, yeah.
Yeah, these things are very, very quick. Victoria,
Yeah.
you're still stunned, still can't parry. You can move, but there's little else that you can do, I'm afraid. You're
Yeah.
still woozy and barely keeping standing on your feet.
Yeah, I'm not going to do anything.
Today has been probably not a day to put in your diary.
This is on you, Victoria. Cran last session, Victoria this session.
Yeah. I'm Russian.
Cherry, right, she's going to carry on with that katana attack on the Skeletal Guardian,
Come on, baby.
and that's a miss. Ugnan.
Prepping again, shouting to the heavens.
Okay.
But nothing else.
Khan! Cran will go again. Oh my Lord, he misses as well. Initiative rolls, please. Right. Skeleton attacking Cran with the badly injured shoulder with the lead piping in the library. That's a miss. Next Skeletal Guardian has been hammering away at Cherry and sees no reason to change. And does 6 points of damage. And also manages to hit her such that she is winded as well. An A crush.
Oh, snuck one in, eh?
And the poor thief is now beginning to look like she's struggling and wishes that she hadn't got out of bed. 60, again, catches her across the leg. These guys are pervs. All they do is go for the legs unless they know something that I don't. So again, another leg injury, probably the same leg. So it's hit her on the thigh, hit her on the calf. She's hobbled and is beginning to buckle and drop to her knees. Silk, it's your turn. Cherry's in a bad way. Victoria's retreated. Cran can't hold alone. Numal is desperately trying to hold one of the skeletons off Cherry. What are you going to do?
Cry that she's still dumb and is trying to keep things hit. So she'll cast shield, although it's a magical shield if that even works. But and then she'll wait her turn.
Okay.
Next round.
So give me that casting roll for shield.
You got. Oh, I should have attacked.
The best spell I've ever cast.
Yeah.
Numal, it's your turn.
And sorry, she'll take a 5
You
foot
need to
step.
protect Cherry. This creature is bearing down on her, and though Cherry holds up her sword in a defensive posture, she's not going to be able to defend herself for much longer.
So last round, I had a fairly good roll, and yet I did very minimal damage.
Yeah.
I think that's my only option to attack again with Shern's sword. I'm just don't.
Yeah, I mean, it is a holy
options.
weapon against undead. So if you can hit it and do a critical, you'll do a lot of damage. You've just got to get that blow through its defense.
Yeah. Okay.
It is a holy blade, and therefore could inflict a lot of damage if you can make it count. Use the force.
Okay. Once
Good luck.
more. There we go. Skeletal Guardian 2.
Oh, another good roll.
Come on.
1 point of damage.
Oh.
I mean,
The
it got
open-ended,
through,
yeah.
but not much. Creature looks, I mean, you're beginning to wear them down, batter them down. Ugnan, are you doing the hold kind again?
Yeah, this time shoots his hand forward, imagines he's cupping its skeletal balls and starts to squeeze.
No, beauty.
Sicko. Oof,
Nice.
that's not bad, but not good enough.
Ah!
Okay. Victoria, you're stunned.
Yeah.
But so you can move in if you want to, or you can wait, because next round you'll be free and you'll be able to attack.
I was going to move in. So I'm
Okay.
moving in, but I'm just standing there.
Okay, so you stagger into battle, barely able to defend yourself, raising your warhammer, even though it takes all your energy to raise your warhammer. If this creature comes at you, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
Okay. Cherry, she's in a bad way, but she's going to have one more go. She knows that these holy blades are the only chance you've got of defeating these things.
Oh.
But she misses. Cran. So he's going to go again, and he does 19 points of damage on the creature, and he manages to do, and this is a holy blade.
Oh, nice.
So 37, which is probably the better roll that he wants. So that's done another 15 hit points of damage on this creature, which is going to be enough to knock it to the ground. One of them collapses.
Thank you, Cran.
Okay. And that's initiative rolls, please. One is down. There's only one left, and it is quite badly damaged. There's Cherry, and there's Cran, and that's Skeletal Guardian. This one is damaged, but it can still fight normally, and it's going to go for Cherry again.
Oh,
crikey.
That smashes her for 29 points of damage.
Ugh.
And an E crush critical. Somehow she is still standing. She totters, topples.
Oof.
25, catches her across the ribs. Somehow she is still on her feet, though she drops her sword and clutches what are clearly some broken ribs. Silk. Attack, it'll be from behind.
Okay, we'll do it just because you said 25 for rear flank. And here we go. I'm hoping. Oh, yeah, I'm just so hurt.
That's a miss, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Numal.
Okay, once again, Shinnon's sword. My expectations aren't that high, but let's see what can happen.
Really good rolls, mate.
Another good roll.
Yeah.
Those are really good
that
rolls,
bit.
but just not quite getting through its defense. It's really quick. It's another 2 points of damage. They all count, he said. Ugnan.
Not much you can do, I suppose. It's going to prep again. This time I have to draw from the power of a pearl. And that's it.
Okay. Victoria, you can move in and attack. Get your revengi.
Revengi.
Good luck, man.
Do I get
Rear attack, plus 25 or plus 35, I think. Die,
Yeah.
you big skeleton thing, you. 209.
Nice.
Way to go.
Holy damage.
22 points of damage. And because you've managed to get that crush critical, you get that because your blade is holy.
Yeah.
Can you make a high open-ended dice roll, please?
Oh, beauty. 87.
So 87. That's actually counted as a light wound. That's another 12 hits. If it was flesh and blood, it would take 4 hits per round. It would have to parry next round, and you get to add 20 to your next swing. Those 12 hit points of damage are enough to crunch the thing to the ground. Its head rolls off what remains of its vertebrae. It lets go of the mattock and slumps to the floor, defeated. You've killed them. Defeated.
Good
them.
job, guys.
I can fix you up, Cherry, but I need to put a brew on.
Okay. Do you want to retreat back to the gardener's shack again?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the potting shed, and I will brew a cup of tea, and you might want to light your wood burns.
Well, before we do that, I'm going to drag one of these behemoths over and just watch it for a while just to see if it's regenerating like everything else.
No, this as you drag it over and watch, you leave some of the bones behind that became detached. It's not regenerating. The bones feel warm though.
Okay.
So that's obviously somewhat unnatural. This thing, when alive, probably would have been close to 7 feet tall. So you can only, you dread to imagine how heavily muscled it would have been. Cran is a big man, but these two huge humans would have towered over Cran and made him look average in height.
Okay. I'll grab the weapons and toss them into the bushes or something away from this, just in case they recuperate somehow.
Okay. So you've got to the entrance of this chapel palace, whatever it is. You've defeated the guardians that lie in front of it, but sadly, you're going to have to retreat and rest up again. The small potting shed that you found last time is actually perfectly structured. It's got some intact walls. There is something of a roof, not that it's rained, but it does give you that feeling of security. So you can rest up here for however long it takes you to recover. How long do you want to rest for? How long will it take you, Ugnan, to heal everything?
Right, so a brew will take about 20 minutes, and then I can give
Yep.
Silk a balak, which is pretty powerful, 160 gold piece herb. AF12.
Keep your drugs, old man. I don't want to get addicted like the rest of you bastards.
Look, it will taste like shit, but it will knit that wrist together perfectly in less than an hour. AF12, by the way.
I don't know. I see the way you guys are eyeballing me just lifting the herb to my mouth, and you guys aren't addicted to this one.
Right, Silk, can you give me an addiction roll, please?
Hang on. I haven't decided if I'm putting it in my mouth.
Oh, come on.
Do it.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
party
I
that's
would like-
addicted together stays together.
Come on. Shattered wrist is minus 75 to the con roll for how long it's going to last me. It might only be a week. It might be a month. I might take my chances, but anyway, here we go. What's the addiction factor, you bugger?
12.
Oh, fuck me! Did you? And
It's the good stuff.
And so she doesn't know it's 12. She's just like, Ugnan handed it to me. Here we. So, fuck if I'm addicted to 160 gold pieces.
160 gold pieces.
And what's that?
Heroic quests. What's it
Disease,
worth?
poison,
No,
or just a con roll?
It's just a con roll.
Okay.
What's Balak? I've done worse. I've smoked worse.
Nice. Oh, thank God.
Okay, so you take that Balak herb. So that just what will that do, Ugnan? Is that an instant heal, or was that doubling the healing rate?
No, it's an instant heal. That's why it's so expensive.
Oh wow, that is a cool herb.
You gave it to us.
You're never going to get that again. Okay, so Silk, the damage is healed. The wrist, your wrist bones almost instantly knit. No, it's shoulder, wasn't it? Your shoulder almost instantly.
Shield wrist.
Wrist, was it? Shield wrist. So your wrist almost instantly knits back together. The fragments, that grating sound that you make as you've been painfully moving your wrist, actually stops almost instantly.
Wow.
There are herbs,
Thank
and then
you.
there are good herbs.
Thank you, Ugnan.
No
Okay,
problem.
what next?
Right, the last two is a minor fracture repair. It's only level 1 spell. That's recovery type 1 to 10 hours.
So that's for Cherry, isn't it? For the cracked ribs.
Yeah, and then she's also got a calf bruise.
Yeah,
but that's a major calf bruise. So I'm not sure what spell that is.
To be honest, it's just a calf bruise.
So it's
So
blood or whatever.
bruised hell. No, I would. If you've got, to be honest, just heal the concussion damage, and that will be fine. Because it's a bruise. I know it's a major bruise, but it's still a bruise.
Okay, so then I'll take them both on again. So that's 81, 84, 144, and then Silk's 174. So that's him knocked out again.
You poor bastard.
So just he'll put the pearl in his hand, and then go to sleep. I suppose we'll just cast that minor fracture repair first. Make sure that doesn't fumble.
Yeah, give me that one.
And then while he's
Yeah, no
sleeping,
problem.
the regeneration. Oh, and that's okay as well.
How many of those pearls have you got now?
I've got one with 14 left. Matt's got one with I don't know what left. And then we've got a 50.
Yeah, I can check that.
Then we've got an untouched 50 PowerPoint one.
Okay.
And that's where that session finished. Yay! We survived hardcore mode. Phew. Let's not leave it here though. It's not even got 40 minutes in yet. So we'll join the next session, which happened a month later. I think Stuart rebuilt Fantasy Ground module, which is why there's a few changes here. But what we'll do is we'll pick up just after the rest at the potting shed or the gardener's shed, and the party are back outside the temple again. We've lost Numal's player Jan this session, but gained Cran's player John. So let's continue.
So as you stand outside, the doors are still open from where you left them. Nothing else has emerged. You can see there are stone benches on the inside that line the walls of this, what could be some sort of entrance hallway or antechamber. Nothing seems to be moving around inside, and you can see that the sandstone flooring is cracked and crazed in patches. Particularly tough and resilient vegetation has begun to encroach and grow in the cracks. By the dim light that filters through, you can see that there are a set of steps that lead down into the rest of what must be some sort of magnificent palace or temple of some description. What do you want to do?
Oh, let's go and try and find some of these bloody artifacts. Cran shrugged his shoulders and just walks up to the door and has a good sniff and looks around.
Just before we go in there, can I just say that you big lad, you ran in and had a swing in your sword without any of us really backing you up last time, and I had to take on a few broken arms and legs. And you other big lad, looking at Casper, Victoria, you big lass, you just ran in last time and started attacking the skeletons. And again, I had to take some more broken wrists and broken arms. Can we keep it a bit like your military fucking warriors, please?
Cran looks sheepish and says,
You've just been told off.
Fucking hell, Ugnan. I never knew you had it in you. And then he says, oh yeah, Victoria, by my side, and let's do this by the numbers. And then he kind of...
Sure.
And then he whispers
in anyway.
and he whispers to Victoria, never was much for following orders. So I'm going to smell the air and have a look around.
Okay, so as the two of you step gingerly in, you can feel the temperature increase slightly as you walk in. Whether that's because you're out of the faint breeze which is stirring the lifeless muck around, you're not quite sure. Cran cautiously scents the air. Can you give me a perception roll, please, Cran? Victoria, you obviously have Cran's back, and as he just ducks slightly and cranes his head forward, you also get the opportunity to look around as well. Can you give me a perception roll, please?
Sure.
Both of you are able to detect the sort of almost comforting smell that you get off after a thunderstorm. The air feels fresh and crisp, noticeably fresh and crisp compared to the city that you've been exploring. It's almost as if not that anything that might be present in the air has been purified. The air here is particularly clean and feels particularly fresh. So fresh, in fact, that there's almost no odour at all. There's just the very faintest hint, Cran, of cinnamon.
I can smell a bit of cinnamon in the air, Victoria. You haven't changed your perfume, have you?
No, I don't have perfume.
Oh, all right then.
He sounds disappointed.
I reckon Sarissa would smell good without them. All right, everyone's come on. Cran looks over his shoulder and says, "Right, everyone keep within like 5-10 feet. Don't want anyone splitting the group up. Mainly because I want that bloke who gets breaks himself on a regular basis near me. I'll move Cherry and Numal up if that's all right.
Okay, yeah, they'll come up. So you can tell, Cran and Victoria, that there are no windows leading to the outside. The windowless temple and chapel, and since there are no worshippers or priests apparently present surviving inside, there's been nobody to light candles or oil braziers. Perhaps that's why the air is so fresh and clean, but it also means that there is absolutely no light inside, and this huge temple complex beyond, or palace, is completely dark and silent.
I'm going to start prepping the lantern to try and light it.
Okay.
Any footprints, obviously, in any dust on the floor?
Not that you could tell from your first check. If you want to have another closer look, Cran, you can give me a very hard perception roll, please.
Okay, so I'll just wait until Ugnan lights his light source before looking.
Yeah, that will give you a benefit to the roll, yeah.
All right, Ugnan, just crouch down here, mate, and he'll take a look. So it's very hard perception.
Okay. Cran, you can see scuff marks where the skeletons came across. In fact, you can see They've clearly been sitting for some time immobile on two benches to the left and right of the doors. Where their heels were resting, you can see that the flagstone floor has remained almost perfectly intact, but you can quite clearly see that vegetation was growing in and around their feet. You can also see the path that they took to get to the door. The skeletons were positioned either side of the steps, sitting on the two stone benches that you can see.
Right.
Other than that, you can't see any evidence that anything has come in or gone out.
Looks like just those skeletons. Nothing's gone in through these down these steps in a long time. Can you see that? Look, where their feet were, there's like, literally nothing around it except look at all of the flagstones around it, like stuff in the cracks and everything. It must have been here for bloody years, decades.
You get your lantern lit, but for some reason, as you bring the lantern inside, the light suddenly halves. It's almost as if something is battling and fighting back the light. Can you give me a perception roll, please, Ugnan? Ugnan, it looks almost as you look at the radius of your light, you can see that rather than it being a perfect circle centering around the lantern, it seems to bulge and fold back on itself, almost pulsing and moving as if your lantern light is alive and trying to move, but something is pushing back against it.
I've given you a warding roll there, just in case there's any kind of warding type giveaways around here.
Give me a perception roll, please, Ugnan. Just a regular perception roll. You can see on either side of the lintel of the door, just above the arch, you can see what are clearly quite potent warding signs that are designed to keep something out. However, both warding signs are quite old and both are somewhat damaged. You suspect the wards are still effective, but very, very weak.
Right, okay. Does he know enough about warding? Probably doesn't. That if he can make a connection between that and the skeletons animating, or wouldn't he know enough about that because he hasn't got any warding spells of his own?
You've made the warding law roll, haven't you? So you would guess that these wards were not so much to keep skeletons out. The warding signs look ominous and threatening and somewhat unpleasant. Looking at them, you get a vague feeling of dread and unease. The warding signs there were not marked to keep evil out, far from it.
Okay.
Might be on something here. Do you think, Ugnan? What's that crap you were looking at?
Oh, it's symbols which use in warding to ward out things, and it looks like it's some way of trying to keep people outside from coming in. And it looks quite well, they look quite horrible to look at. I think some kind of evil magics or something, but they're quite weak, so they're a bit old and not broken, but they're not as functional as they could be.
So Cran removes this like massive index finger from his nostril and inspects it, and then quite bored at like stuff about writing, and then says, "So evil stuff in here then, or is it like a bit confused? Are we is it trying to get out or trying to keep it in?"
Don't want us in, I don't think, lad.
No, all right,
Never stopped us.
very true. All right, stay close, everyone, and Cran will move over to that area and look down the steps.
Okay. Cran, beyond the archway that goes over the door and goes over the steps, you're staring into pitch blackness. You can't see anything at all. Fortunately, the rest of the party haven't moved and are being quiet. You listen carefully and strain your ears. Nope, you can't hear anything at all. This place could be deserted.
Oh, I whisper, really black up here. Can you bring the old torch up? Bring the light up.
Yeah, come in. Look, it's doing something to the lantern now.
Fucking hate magic.
Okay, the lantern spills out into the archway. Cran, you too notice that the lantern light isn't as good as it should be, and you can see that it's clearly struggling, almost as if hands are pushing on that ring of light, pushing it back on you.
Right,
With the aid of the lantern light, you can see the steps leading down. They look like just regular stone steps. Give me another perception roll, please, Cran. As the others moved up, with their boots scuffing on the worn surface of the stone, clearly something took advantage of that and scurried across the wall. Across the wall, not along the floor. There is something moving on the wall on the other side of the stone bench, just to your left. And as the others walked up to you, it took advantage of their footfalls to scurry across the wall.
Oh, yeah. So I'll try and point out the last place I heard the noise. Shine that light up there, Ugnan. There's something scurrying along the bloody wall.
Yeah, he'll try and point the lantern as best he can.
Okay, Ugnan holds the lantern up and it spills up, filling that upper part of the lobbyway, Ugnan, Cran. You can't see anything up there at all. You can see the warning signs, which are vaguely disturbing. Even for somebody as unlearned as Cran, you can tell that they're threatening in some way, Cran. They're not good. But there's nothing there. There are no creatures or beasts lurking up in the corner of the anteroom. The anteroom is empty and deserted.
Oh, yeah. Numa, when you're coming this way, keep an eye up here and I'll point to where I heard the scuttering. There's something up there, I think. Can't see the
All right,
blighter.
okay. Numa will close up and keep an eye on that corner.
Right, Ugnan. Victoria, you ready? To the steps.
After you.
Cran, you edge up to the steps. You haven't crossed the lintel that the warning signs are on. The lantern creeps up next to you as well. Give me another perception roll as you strain to hear and see into the darkness. You can see that there is perhaps rubble right at the foot of the stairs, as if there's been a partial collapse perhaps of ceiling, but there's no light coming through and there are no obvious pillars. Whatever moved or you thought you heard move just to your left on the wall is silent, waiting for an opportunity perhaps to pounce, waiting for an opportunity to run away. Peering into the darkness as best you can, nothing seems to move. Everything waits patiently.
Ugnan, am I going to get, like, I don't know, bricks fall on my head or me nuts shot off if I go down these stairs?
Don't know until you find out. Cherry, could your deck of cards tell us?
He asks the deck what will happen if Cran goes through the archway. So she deals out the cards, looks at the cards and turns them over one at a time. There's the King of Swords, there's the Three of Cups, Four of Cups, there's the Lovers, there's the King of Stars. And she looks at you, Cran, and kind of shrugs, and I don't think anything will happen. I think you'll be safe, but I don't really understand these cards very well. But I think you're safe if you go through. I don't think anything will happen.
All right. Cran looks over his shoulder and says, and remember, Ugnan, if someone like whips me fruits off and about 5 minutes later, he'll have yours as well, won't he? And he laughs and then they've just walked down the steps.
Cran, you step down the steps and almost lose your footing on the rubble that's there. Ugnan, are you going to advance with the lantern?
Yep, just behind Victoria once she goes.
Victoria steps down as well. So does Ugnan. There's a slew of rubble right in front of the stairs. Glancing up, Cran, you can see that there was probably once a decorative gargoyle above and just behind you on the lintel of the doorway, but it's crumbled onto the floor, bounced off the floor and shattered into rubble. Difficult to make out what this gargoyle or statue once was, but you can see that it was fixed above the door, staring inwards. As you step in, Cran, you also get the feeling that this complex, this temple that you've walked into, whatever it is, palace perhaps, is very large with a lot of open space. Ceiling is possibly, well, tens of feet above you. Very, very high indeed. And you get the sense that you've walked into a vast open chamber, which is not well lit at all.
Oh, so anything you can do to get some more bloody light in there. This is fucking lethal. Could be like an army standing about 10 feet away. We wouldn't know about it.
It's happened Silk has finally become possessed.
Yeah, the Matrix has him.
That's right. That's a spell of some description. So Silk casts her projected light. As you cast your spell, you feel, and as you begin to finish the final words of your incantation and hold your hand up to release the light, you feel a great pressure and resistance, and inside you can hear voices trying to whisper over your spell to try and drown out the noise that you're making, to try and stop you casting your spell. Beads of sweat form on your forehead, and you concentrate very, very hard. As simple as a spell as this is proving very, very difficult. And it's with some relief that you finally get your spell off. So you can see sort of 50 feet in front of you.
Oh, cheers, Silk.
See about there. Ugnan, were you casting yours as well?
Once he saw Silk preparing it, he shut up and stopped doing it.
Okay. You can see that Silk struggled to cast her spell, but she managed with a real force of will to get her spell off. So you've now got that 50 feet, which she can sort of shine around from where she is in sort of an arc around you.
But the lantern's still struggling.
The lantern is still struggling.
Okay, in that case, he will cast light then.
Right, everyone keep an eye out for like eyes in the darkness. Any sign of
Okay,
movement.
as Silk comes a little bit closer, you can make out what is clearly some sort of pedestal. You can dimly see that one of the upper levels, or one of the second, probably about the second step of the pedestal, seems to be lined with vertical rods, vertical iron rods, going from floor up into the darkness of the ceiling, almost as if they're forming the bars of a cage.
Oh, I've got to go and explore that. Silk, stay with Ugnan. And then, are you ready, Victor? Sorry, mate. Sorry, Mrs. Victoria. And Cran will jog across the space quite quickly as he's got light, wild flashing shadows on the thing in front. Probably.
Okay, all right. Cran jogs across, followed by Victoria, who hesitates slightly. Can the two of you give me perception rolls as you jog across that open lit area?
Cran's either making some extremely really good or extremely bad perception rolls at the moment.
So as you jog across, you can't help but be aware that you are totally exposed out in the open, floodlit as it were. Whatever hunts and lives in this dark area has now got you clearly in their sights. There is only one source of light in this massive chamber, and you're in the center of it. As you get across to what you guess is perhaps the center of this huge chamber, given the nature of the temples and palaces and complexes that you've seen, you are, Cran, as you get closer, able to see, and as Victoria comes up, that there is a massive circular stone pedestal, probably about 40 feet across. There are a whole series of vertical iron rods. If you step up to there, Victoria steps up to there, you are barred from stepping up any further because of all of these vertical rods that bar your way. They're about half a foot apart. So even if you turn sideways, you'll struggle to squeeze through. Ugnan, so you cast your light spell as well, and yours really struggles. So again, as you begin to finish the casting of your spell, it is almost as if there are other voices inside your head shouting and talking and babbling and trying to drown out the noises that you must hear to get your spell off. It is with an incredible strength and force of will that you're able to get your spell off at all. But you too have got 50 foot of light. You can shine that up into the ceiling, and all you can really tell is that the ceiling arches up above all of you, possibly to a height of just well, can you give me a perception roll, please, actually, Ugnan? As you begin to span it up, there is, after a short while of moving your magic light across the ceiling in an arc. The ceiling eventually towards what you guess must be the center of the complex. You can't touch the ceiling anymore. A little bit of maths, a little bit of intuition. At its highest point, you think the ceiling is perhaps 70 or 80 feet above you.
Right, okay.
But arching up above you. Okay. So you can see these iron bars which are stopping you going any further, Cran, but there's obviously something, perhaps of value or something that needs fencing in, barring in on the other side of these bars. The rest of the parties you turn around have remained just by the steps leading down. They haven't come any further yet.
I can get that light up here, so keep moving around. Just come across that open area fast, and I would try and stick together. There's like some, I don't know, what do you reckon, Victoria? Some sort of cage here or something?
Yeah, something like that.
So, Silk, you've begun to scurry across the floor. Similar to the other two, you are acutely aware that you are now absolutely exposed in a well-lit area in what would otherwise be a dark area. You throw out your light to try and illuminate as much as you can as you scurry across. We see about that much. As you come closer, you can see a little bit more of this central area. Standing on the other side of these iron bars, you can see what looks like a green agate idol, not life-size, triple life-size, in the shape of a quite youthful woman. But the agate has been cunningly carved to resemble flames. It looks as if this woman is on fire, but she doesn't seem distressed. In fact, there is a faint hint, perhaps of a smile on her face, as if she knows something that you don't know. She has a secret and holds a secret close to her soul that, if you are useful to her, if you prove worthy, she might share with you. Her flesh, though, the bare flesh exposed on her arms and on a rather shapely thigh that protrudes from a slit robe, are tinged with small flames, cunningly carved into the agate.
Well, she's a bundle of laughs. Ugnan, Silk, what do you make of this? Come on, everyone, keep it together. Ugnan, you're slacking behind there. Silk, keep up.
Cherry, you know when you had that vision and you said about the stone, the ashling stone, and you saw in your vision steps near a high vaulted room dominated by a huge statue. It wasn't that statue, was it?
It was, she nods. Yeah.
Ooh.
We are on to the ashling stone.
Your memory, Ugnan, that's bloody marvellous.
Oh, it's just
And we
this book.
want that.
Books are good, mate.
Yes. So you're after the ashling stone and you're after the portal rods.
Yeah, we want the stone first.
Right. Stone first, rescue the woman. Patience.
Okay, so
Just,
we're looking for
just
some
a little
type
word
of
of warning.
stone.
Just to remind you, at the end of Cherry's vision, it was she remembers that we coming back from the underground chamber with the stone, which is good, but it had been some kind of terrible battle, and there was some injured, and one of us was being carried.
I think that means you, Ugnan, because you are so self.
Crano tagged Victoria's arm and said, "You're it."
And then runs off into the darkness.
Fine.
Okay, what do you want to do?
Come on, Silk, come and have a look at this. Ugnan, I have
Okay.
no idea what to make of this thing. I don't even know how to get in here, whether it's important.
Okay, Cherry will, and I'll call up a character to do this.
There are steps going down somewhere.
She looks at you quizzically and then guesses that you probably want her to first of all check for traps, which she will do. As far as she can tell, there are no obvious mechanical traps on the iron or around the iron bars, but obviously she's not prodded or poked anything too foolishly. She can't find any traps, but she does point out that there is, not far from where Cran is standing, there looks to be a small, quite regular, or rather irregular marked piece of stone. And as you look carefully, you can see it's quite worn and scraped. And Cherry says, with her perception roll, looks like people maybe placed coins on that for some reason.
Cran will start rooting through his pockets for some coins.
Too late. Silk already flips one.
Okay. Silk, you toss a coin. What coin do you put on that stone?
Oh, she's a spendthrift, so it'll be a couple gold pieces.
Couple of gold pieces. Okay, so you pop a couple of gold pieces onto the stone. They land on the stone with a cold metallic clink, which echoes throughout the entire vast chamber. The coins sit on the stone for a while, and then the stone sinks slightly and slides underneath one of the inner rings, and then rises up to appear just by the foot of the statue, and then sinks again out of sight. As you watch and listen, whether it's the same stone but you suspect another piece of stone takes its place. Exactly where the coins went, no idea.
That's nicked your money,
Cherry.
Silk.
Cherry, you owe me 2 gold coins. I'll basically do, not to strobe everybody, but I say, hang on, guys, and I'll just walk around the whole base with the flashlight effect, and I'll basically go and swing it around
Okay.
just to get a
All right.
better lay of the land.
I'll say, don't go on your own, Silk, and Victor, you stay, or you go with her. I'll stay with these guys.
Oh, I'll be good.
No, I trust you. I don't trust the thing with tentacles in the ceiling.
Oh, good answer.
Okay. So whatever else is in this area is hidden against the walls. Right, can you stop there? So Silk and Victor, you get just to the other side of the party. You are about, well, a good sprint away from them. But
Okay.
as you almost go out of sight, remember you've got these bars which are only about a foot apart. And because of the angle and because of the distance between you, you are now out of sight of the other party. Can you both give me perception rolls, please, as you walk around quietly, shining your light into the darkened edges of this huge chamber? Victoria, if there's anything here, it's waiting for its moment to pounce on you. You are now out of sight of Cran and his huge enchanted two-handed sword, also Numal's blade and Cherry as well. If something jumps you now, you're out of sight of the others. You'd better get ready to make a noise. Silk, as you walk round again, think something took advantage of Victoria's iron-shod military-style boots. Your delicate slippers aren't making any noise as they whisk across the faded and cracked sandstone flooring, but Victoria's boots are making a distinct crunching noise, and as they follow behind you, you could hear just over the top something scurrying along the ceiling above you.
Can I hear that?
No, you're too far away.
Okay.
Shining your light up, Silk, there might have been something moving. Certainly the light changed, almost as if something moved and cast a shadow, but you're not sure.
Oh,
The
wow.
rest of you, standing on the other side of the statue, the other two have now gone out of sight, and all of a sudden, Silk's lantern flickers up to the ceiling. You've seen it bob along the floor and the wall, and they suddenly go out of sight, and then the lantern flicks up to the ceiling, and they've stopped moving.
Right, everyone, let's move around and get to where Silk is, and I'll just speak in a louder voice. Silk, Victoria, stay where you are. We're catching you up. And I'll say, Numal, lead the way with Cherry. Ugnan, you go in the middle. I'll bring up the rear, and I'll kind of look behind.
Okay.
Ugnan, kind of shine your torch behind us.
Around.
To be.
And Cherry goes around.
It's like herding cats, this party.
Okay, Silk and Victoria, what are you doing? Are you waiting to see what that thing is in the shadows? Or do you want to move?
Yeah, I'll pay special attention myself with the light on the ceiling up to 50.
Okay, give me a perception roll then, please. At the height of the ceiling, your lantern, your enchanted light won't hit the apex of the ceiling. But
Gotcha.
shining it up and peering, and then moving it around, where it touches the ceiling, you can see bare ceiling. When it gets up into effectively the void, There could well be something there, but if there is, it's waiting very, very patiently to drop on you.
Hmm.
After a while, you can see Cherry and Numal close in on you from the other sides of this enormous plinth, until in the end, you all stand together on the far side.
So I'll poke Victoria and explain what we saw, what we think.
Yeah.
Ugnan, what do you reckon? Shall I just draw this bloody sword? That'll put the right willies up, whatever's up there.
That's not a bad idea, but maybe we should prepare something if we've got to use our magics.
Well,
Yeah,
that
stop.
and hang on, then there might be something worse down below where we're going to get carried out. Maybe say,
Yeah, all right then. So he takes his axe and shield out, grips it tightly.
So Cran says, all right, when I draw this sword, any demon thing within 200 feet of us. Actually, I don't want to bloody tell it. I'm going to just draw the sword.
So you're drawing.
So, Shieldbreaker, yeah.
So you draw out Shieldbreaker, and almost disappointing. There's a slight flare as it comes to life, I suppose. And now sheathed, you get that comforting heartbeat sound. Thump, 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 thump. But it doesn't seem to be beating that quickly. Perhaps it too, like the lantern and like the spells, is struggling. Doesn't seem to be alerting you to any near danger.
That's annoying. Anything within 250 feet is stunned unless it resists against 20th level magic. So I just hoped that's what I wanted to use it for. If I stun something up on the ceiling, it might fall off, and then it'll be within range.
You draw the sword, and there's no sort of telltale flash of light or bolts of divine retribution flying off to attack creatures of darkness.
Cran will shake it, look at the sword, and then get down on his haunches and bang the pommel on the floor, and shake it again. What the fuck's going on with this?
Okay.
Let's
Nothing
just keep
happens.
exploring what we've got here and just keep wary from above. You never know. I mean, if the coin's gold doesn't work, maybe some coins around here might work.
Yeah, that's an idea.
did we get coins from that of Rama's?
Well, I did pick it up, but then you said it might be cursed, so I dropped them like a rock.
Yeah, that was smart. That was smart to listen to me.
Well, there's got to be some way in there into
Mhm.
that thing. Shall I? I'll grab Betty out of his backpack, and then I'll look at the bars. Is it possible, or do I think to get some leverage on the bars to bend it with the
Oh,
crowbar?
so you to kind of insert Betty between the bars and sort of lean against them, bend one out and bend one in. You mean?
Yeah.
As soon as as Ugnan sees Betty come out, he's going to prepare a sudden light.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, certainly. I mean, the iron bars themselves are no more than about a finger width in thickness, and Betty has dealt with far more difficult tasks than this. Yeah, brute force might be able to allow you to force your way in.
Right. Just keep a lookout. Anything could happen here, and I'll put my shoulder to it and see if I can bend the bars.
Okay. So, Cran, you step up and then step up again up to the bars. Gingerly insert the bars, and then with inserting one and then the other with an almighty heave, you push. As you do so, you hear a strangely deep and seductive voice emanate from the statue. And the voice says, "Offend not, Oregana." And there's a tremendous flash, a telltale burst of heat, which gives some of you a warning. And then a fireball detonates from the center of the statue, almost filling the area that you stand in.
You hear a clang as Cran drops Betty like a hot potato as he dives for cover.
And that's where we're going to leave this part of the session. Looks like we finally found one of the artifacts. Well, at least the location of the artifacts. Thanks very much for watching, listening, subscribing, following, all that kind of rubbish. Thank you very, very much. Until next time, cheers. Bye-bye.